friends of ours. Do let them know that I've said that I'm going to be attempting to address that problem in a
Okay.
way.
Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. This is a new serum by night scene between Alison Dunsirn and the Toreador in the open casket bar. Alison Dunsirn will not be in her usual spot at the VIP table. She will be at the actual bar counter and be reading over a book she's taken from the manor to study.
At this point, the door bursts open and a cape gets flung with a flourish. Just this, the back flat flourish is the bit that we're interested in. Basically, a sort of like a cape billows in the wind as the door opens and then promptly descends back to normal as Joseph Zwingy wanders into the open casket, comes up to the bar and says, "Are we capable of speaking frankly here?"
At this point, she just looks at the guy. She closes her book. And I just noticed my shit's backwards. There we go. She puts the book back in her book bag, looks at him and goes, "First of all, who the hell are you?"
My character produces a business card out of thin air. I am not going to do the trick again. I've done it for the last 3 scenes I've done this. My character produces a business card out of thin air. Just basically just does a quick hand gesture, pops it up, and hands it to you. As you read the card, it says, Joseph Zwingy, magician, mentalist, and skeptic debunker extraordinaire. Now, out of character, if you have been around the Camarilla for any more than any time in the past 25 years, you will know who my character is because of his rep in the Camarilla as the protector, as the specialist protector of the masquerade through media damage control and quote providing quote rational explanations to the public and videotaping masquerade breaches. Sorry, I have to give the spiel because of the fact that your character, you out of character and don't know this.
Out of character, I didn't know this. In character, I would know this. But, okay, breathe, Guthrie.
Right. Let me rephrase again. My character's rep is the fact that he is a specialist in damage control for masquerade breaches by providing, quote, rational, unquote, explanations to the kind, and at the same time, videotaping masquerade breaches taking place in real time, so this way that evidence can be used in front of a prince to prosecute and convict masquerade breachers of having broken the first tradition.
At this point, she scans over the card. She kind of crumples it up and drops it over the counter into the trash bin. She goes, "I don't need your card. I know who you are. I have friends among the Camarilla."
And Joseph smiles and says, "Then I take from that we can speak freely here. Good. I don't have to worry about my wording in a place like this."
At this point, she holds her hand up to stop you. She looks around and she goes, "Take 5, girls." And they go to the back of the bar. She's now zipped her bag so you cannot even see the title on the spine of the book because it's family related. She goes, "What can I do for the Toreador?"
Actually, I'm just here for a drink, but I am hyper-vigilant these days about exposures that might jeopardize our mutual safety.
At this point, she kind of cringes. You notice she touches over where her heart would be. There is a faint scar she hasn't fully healed, just as a reminder of what happened with the Sabbat. And she goes, which, if you've probably heard stories.
If it was at the Eagle Club, my character was there for the first part of it.
It was at the carnival before the Ravenos left. At this point, she looks at him and she goes, "Okay, who's broken which of your rules this time?"
No, it's, well, specifically, the one that I'm currently tracking down is a street magician who I'm trying to find out whether or not he's a masquerade breacher. And my only concern, of course, as you may or may not be aware, is that I am only concerned with the first and great tradition, which protects all kindred. The moment we get exposed is the moment we get majorly exposed is the moment that the rest of us are all in danger.
As you say this, she actually gets up and she motions the ghoul that's over 7 feet tall to move and go to sit down and take a break. She'll take care of you, and she starts pouring you a shot glass of, at first, what you think is deep red wine until you smell it.
Mm-hmm. Classic. I'm going to roll perception. I'm going to roll perception alertness, heightened senses, to determine if I can find out any subtle details about this particular
batch.
Yeah, about this particular batch. So this will be perception alertness using Auspex heightened senses. Perception is 4, I believe, on my sheet. Give me a sec to pull up the file. I have mislaid it in another document sector. One moment here. Please bear with me. Come on, where are you? Oh, down under here. Which means this one. Okay, now how did I actually set this up for him? Yes, there we go. That is perception 4, alertness. Oh, damn, I only... Okay. Correction, perception awareness. Using heightened senses.
Okay.
The indicator. So 5, lowering the difficulty to 5 as opposed to 6. And my character can't discern anything particularly unique about this capability.
You discern that it's blood. You can tell them, I'll give you something to be nice. The bottle says from the private stock of the open casket.
No, I kind of figured that, but it's just, no, my character goes, oh, well, interesting, and proceeds to take a sip and put it back down gently on his, on the bar.
It tastes like blood and tears.
Yeah.
At this point, she pours herself a very large... She actually gets herself a wine glass and fills it instead of a shot glass like you. And she leans down and puts it under the counter now, instead of back on the back wall. And she goes, so, you're not here to do business, and most people from the Camarilla don't talk to me unless it's for business.
Well, let me put it this way. See, for me... how do I put this? For me, life and business tend to have a bit of an overlap. And I find that if I am there as a witness, especially considering my predisposition, shall we say, my business simply tends to get done more often than not simply by being present. So therefore I can act completely social.
Alright.
But to something more specific, if you're looking for inquiries about business, I am attempting to track down a... How do I put it? I am trying to track down a lead that perhaps someone outside of the Camarilla might be able to get me information for.
At this point, she leans forward and she goes, my cousins, my brothers, and I can do whatever you need for a price.
Okay, well, why don't I let you know roughly what we're looking for, and you can quote me a price, and we'll see if we can come to some sort of arrangement.
Go ahead and start quoting. She's pulled out a notepad and has started jotting down.
Specifically, I was speaking. One of my retainers was speaking to another bar. I think it was actually a one run by another Giovanni, if memory serves. It might even have been this one. I honestly don't remember. His information gathering skills are sadly not the he's not the brightest retainer, and so as a result, his reports were a little garbled. However, he did mention that he did get a lead pertaining to a street magician we are attempting to determine whether or not is a masquerade breacher. Namely, I don't know if you've been following the kind media, but there's been reports of a street magician who has been changing the color of his skin at will in front of people, and apparently at his performances at a carnival, children have been going missing and a few other odds and ends. Now, my retainer got a lead from another kindred, claiming that we should be checking a carnival down where the Ravnos are, or used to be. Now, sadly, the problem is that I do not have
Hold
a...
on. At this point, she's held up her hand and she takes a very large gulp from the cup. You can see the beast is starting to come up in her eyes. And
Oh, right.
she goes, "The only thing I remember about the carnival, besides my dear Rovnos friends there, is being staked and attacked by Sabat when Camarilla was supposed to be there protecting that zone."
Did you just fail a frenzy roll?
I've spent a willpower, so I won't frenzy.
Oh, okay, good. I was just going to say, 131. Does that mean I have to be ready for combat now?
No,
Okay.
no, I spent a willpower.
No,
So
okay,
I
okay,
said it
good,
out
good.
loud.
No, okay, yes. Joseph collects his hands in his usual thought pose and says, "Sadly, I have only recently arrived in the city. Sadly, I've only recently arrived in the city, and I am attempting to track down this lead, primarily for the safety. My fellows in the Camarilla, as I am beginning to realize to certain extents in this city, there are some amongst the Camarilla who would gladly belittle the safety of all of us in favor of their own particular personal prejudices, shall we say? I do not wish to speak ill of my brethren normally, because quite a lot of my brethren, particularly most of the princes I have worked for, have generally been fair and just. However, I now owe a very hefty boon to a particular person who decided to belittle the masquerade in favor of the tradition of domain, and then, quote, mercifully, unquote, let me live after I frenzied in the process of trying to protect the masquerade."
Okay, I need to make a check real quick.
Okay. See,
Perception.
I haven't actually specified the exact wording of this, but it is probably public knowledge by now.
I'm perception and alerting to figure out. I'm reading into you, basically.
Um,
Body
what?
language.
Yeah, no. What you can tell is that what my character is telling you is true, but what you can tell is that he's holding, both from the wording and from the body language, he is not specifically stating to whom he owes this particular life debt.
At this point, she's taking the bottle back out. She pours more in your cup. She grazes your hand as she pulls away. You can tell by her empty expression she's fucking with you, seeing as she can push you. And she goes, "So, who do you owe the debt to? I know
Well,
almost all Camarilla."
well, from what my retainers negotiated while I was in torpor, I'm going to have a little word with them about that, about acting on my behalf without my explicit instructions. I now owe I now owe a hefty boon, as the current wording is, to Calliope Tuvularis.
"I know Calliope. Well, not personally. I know of her. She's adorable from what I hear and seen."
Yeah, well, let me put it this way. I walked in on a conversation where I heard her say that she was talking about going hog wild on Kine and breaching the masquerade in the process. So I tried to hack her security system to find out more evidence to see whether or not my suspicions were correct that she was a masquerade
Hold on
breacher.
a minute. Okay. At this point, she goes like, "Shh," and puts a finger to your mouth. She goes, "I like the fact that you're open-lipped and tell me things. But do you really think Calliope or any other Camarilla would like you telling your business to a Giovanni?"
I am assuming that this has been. I'm assuming since my retainer showed up at the Prince's Elysium to address this, I'm assuming that it's already, if it's not already a matter of public knowledge to your clans, chances are it probably will be in short order anyway. I'm just telling you things from my side of it, so this way, not so much as damage control, but I'm telling you the truth of it, so this way, reports do not come out that mar my reputation or distort the truth in the process, shall we say.
"I'm explaining to you, dear fellow. I like you. You're amusing for a paint artist. I'm not really sure what your beauty is." She says this with very empty eyes, like a bit porcelain dolls, and she goes, "For the simple fact of of it all, though, we'll state this. I'm giving you a heads up that if you open your mouth, the new serum, to too many people, you will find a blade in your back. And this isn't a threat, this is a warning.
I'm beginning to realize that already. Surprisingly, the only thing I can say about this, though, is that apparently, despite the fact that apparently the prince agrees with me on the whole issue.
She nods. And Lysander has every right to. He's a great prince and a wonderful man. He sold me some wonderful books back when I was mortal.
Ah, interesting. At this, I don't actually have the bottle handy, so I'll just have to describe what's going on. At this point, my character, I'm going to roll Dex Larceny, and now that I finally have him at full dice, I can finally do this. Dex Larceny, declaring specialty of misdirection, in order to do this. And with difficulty 6, standard difficulty, that is 5 successes for my trick. Hang on while I go get the relevant. Hang on while I go get the relevant bottle.
Just
so I can
describe it.
Pardon? Okay, just describe it. And followed by charisma performance, which I believe is 5 dice. And that goes to so 4 successes there. You can play that however you like, but 4 successes for a perform. My character actually just at this point, my character actually takes out a bottle of Vitae laced with whiskey that is a 1991 vintage that was originally brewed in barrels and what have you. So basically, he quickly pulls it up, just like shows his cloak is empty, and then quickly pulls it up from under his cloak, puts it on the bar, and slides it towards you.
At this point, that's to make sure she doesn't get drunk, because she's not good when she's drunk. She took some, she shot it down, kind of shook out her face, and she goes, not bad. I've had better from Father's selection.
Of course. But yes, but of course, but the thing is, he says, yes, it's actually more that the whiskey itself is the vintage, not the Vitae element. Sadly, this was one of the last 3 bottles given to me by my sire 15 years ago.
At this point, she hands it back, and she goes, oh, you and your sire don't know what you're missing. The Vitae's always better. Granted, this probably will give you a flashback to the reminder of tears in her bottle.
Yes, I remember.
Okay.
Yes, my character flashing back to that goes, yeah, maybe our attempts to try to appreciate kind delicacy is not exactly the sadly the reasons we do it for the reason to remind ourselves of why we do what we do.
Hold on. Because of what you said, she forensic check. Okay, you're all right. She kind of leans up really close to you. She looks much different now. You actually see emotion on her face. It's very dark and bloodthirsty. For a minute there, you actually thought maybe she was frenzying, and you realized she was actually too calm to be. She goes, sir, what I do to serial killers and rapists is my business.
My character's response is, rest assured, when I go after people of this sort, they have generally been, I've discovered that most of the time when most of the time these breaches happen, the ones that I specialize in, it is generally use of disciplines in a method of oppressing kind, in the process of blatantly showing off their powers, quote unquote. And at this point, you may or may not remember that my character's primary thing about the exposures is that he was a skeptic debunker while he was mortal. Hence the rational explanation component.
At this point, her phone rings, and she goes, I will be stepping aside to answer this for a moment. Feel free to talk to my girls, enjoy yourself. And the very large man of a ghoul has taken his place behind the bar counter again. As she steps into the back room, and you hear some Beethoven get very, very loud back there.
Yes. I'm going to attempt to roll just this way, just to see whether or not I can blare out the sound and attempt to overhear what's going on in the conversation, just her one side. I'm going to roll perception awareness, heightened senses. Actually, I wonder if it would be perception alertness. No, we'll try perception awareness. I mean, well, no, we'll just go with perception alertness down at 4 dice. So perception alertness using heightened senses to knock down the difficulty by 1. So that'll be from 5 to 4, I believe. Sorry, no, from 6 to 5. And 2 successes. So what do I hear from Allison's conversation, if anything? Because I got attempting to listen in on it.
Allison, you hear she's answered her phone, and she goes, yes, there are others here. You're going to have to bring it in through the basement. No, I don't need the Camarilla seeing this.
Okay. This is going to be interesting.
Sir, you can come in whenever you want.
Yeah, Dan, you can come in now.
I think he's setting up. Give him a minute.
Yeah. All right. Well, while he's setting up, Joseph quietly smiles, and pulls out $100, makes a $100 bill appear out of thin air, and slips it towards the ghoul, and says, "I believe you guys might be hiding something from me. There will be a little bit more money for you if you're willing to tell me what."
He looks at you, shakes his head, pulls out a napkin and starts scribbling on it. He opens his mouth to show you he doesn't have any way to speak.
No, of course, understood.
And goes, "You really think I would betray the White Lady?"
My character smiles and says, "Fair enough." And,
right.
Says, "Fair enough," and then hands the ghoul an extra 100 for his trouble.
He writes down another part of, "I am the babysitter for a reason. Ask me this again, and I'll rip your throat out." And then again, goes back to drawing glasses.
My character chuckles and says, "Understood," and of course, just again emphasizes the 200 as in, consider that for your trouble of having to answer me in the first place, of having to tell me that in the first place.
He looks at you, takes it, hands it over to a girl. Red hair, really pale, freckles everywhere.
Sorry, we got an out-of-character question as to who Dan is coming in as.
Dan can come in as anything he wants to come in as. Does he have a character?
Come in as anything you want. This is an open scene. We're not doing the NPC scene right now. I'm saving that one for later. Open casket. Of course, meanwhile, as he's of course, he orders from the ghoul another shot glass of the Tears Vitae. Actually changes that and makes it a full, very large tumbler wine glass. Oh, this is going to get so fun.
At this point, Allison comes back in the room, and you notice she's like doing like this. She's drying her hands off like she just washed them. And she has removed her over white shirt. She's down to just a plain dress shirt that was under it. She goes, "Sorry about that. I had some work to do. We have a new bottle in the making right now if you would like some more." At this point, she looks at the front door as she hears someone coming into the bar, and she goes, "We're just opening."
Joseph says thank you, but sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, Dan. Please, this is your introduction.
Yeah. The Eric Summers, still not knowing, in character, that the Giovanni are actually pissed off at him and looking for him for attacking their hospital. He walks into the open casket. He has his mask on. He's wearing a nice, fairly decent mid-range business suit that he actually got from the thrift store because he's a cheap bastard like that. He looks fairly mundane, not very attractive.
What clan are you from?
Nosferatu.
Okay.
Yes, it's not that, though.
Allison will kind of just smile at you and wave you over, offer you her spot at the counter. She goes back behind it. You hear something heavy kind of move as she moves it with her foot under the counter. And she goes, "Welcome to the open casket. How can I help you? I'm Alison Dunsirn. You can call me Al."
I am Eric Summers. I heard this was a place to get a good drink.
Depends what you're in the mood for, she says, motioning to all the alcohol behind her. Unless you say it outright, she's not going to try to give you a bunch of straw. Sorry about that.
Maybe those dogs were not properly ghouled.
Shut up.
Eric looks at the dog that has magically appeared in the bar and is like, "Man, that's an interesting pet you have there, Miss Dunsirn."
At this point, she turns to her dog and goes, "Ulrich Stark, back down to the basement," and it walks to the back. For Camarilla members, they would know that is a gangrel that left the city. Its name.
That's funny.
Sorry, puppy gets out of hand. You know how those beasts are.
Yes, it's still surprising that he didn't try to bite me. Most animals don't appreciate my presence.
You're not female, dear.
And my character, my character jokingly says, "One fails to imagine why," and then proceeds to use perception, awareness, aura check.
On me or on him?
Yeah, I'm doing the aura on Eric. So this will give me difficulty lowered from 6 to 4 because I'm using aura check aspects 2, and no successes.
Out of character, I don't think he can actually hide it.
Yeah, no, but my character can't even see the aura right now. My character takes a look and is like, "That's odd," and proceeds because of that he's going to switch to perception alertness using heightened sense to see if he can see anything in that form. You know, maybe he hasn't quite mastered that particular level 2 yet. So bumping it back by a level to run that at difficulty lowers the difficulty. 2 successes. Does he break 2 successes? Does he break your mask?
Yeah, I think he's going to another room. At this point, Allie has poured more drinks for Joseph and her, but
Yes.
she's still looking at the new fellow to pick his poison.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, 1 second. Everyone likes having conversations when I'm on the scenes. Okay. Out of character, I don't think it actually I don't think it hides aspects, or I don't think it hides his aura. It just hides his
No,
face
but I couldn't.
from
No, but
everything
because of the
in.
fact that my perception awareness was off, I couldn't actually read anything out of your aura.
He just wanted to know if
okay.
you could see through the mask and see that you were
Well, which
actually
is
not.
why I switched to perception alertness as a follow-up roll, and I did get 2 successes. Do I break your mask?
I would assume so.
Okay. What does Joseph see underneath that veneer?
He sees something that looks like it's from a very bad 80s science fiction movie. He's got basically the material that your fingernails are made out of. That's actually what he can see that's actually what his beard is made of. He's got it, all of his hair, all the hair on his body is turned into fingernails, and he looks absolutely hideous. There's no mistaking that either this is a very badly disfigured mortal or he's an Nosferatu.
Yes, my character figures it out. My character jokingly smiles. Makes another one of his business cards appear out of thin air, slips it in front of Eric, and says, "I've always been a fan of practical FX." and wiggles his eyebrows, nodding as in he knows.
Okay. As you do this, Allison kind of perks up, realizes he's basically one of us, pulls out a shot glass, sits it in front of Eric, and starts to pour vate in it. She goes, "Next time, just say something. My girls know if they don't keep their mouths shut, they lose their tongue." At this point, the redhead gets very, very terrified and runs out of the room.
Joy.
I love my
Apologies,
family.
I'm very aware. I'm not. I can't assume this is a kindred-only establishment. He looks around.
Believe me,
I err on the side of caution.
It's only kindred in here except for the employees, and
Okay.
she motions the girl over and goes, "Milliner, come talk to your cousin and her men."
Now, I'm going to roll a perception, I'm going to roll a dex larceny followed by a perception alertness. Oh, wait, would Eric have pulled out his wallet at any point in the last little bit?
Probably not.
No.
Okay, all right, then I'm going to attempt to do a perception, this is going to be a perception empathy. This is going to be a perception empathy, because I'm attempting to read your body language. Or would that be charisma empathy? No, perception empathy would be better in my case because
perception, empathy, or alertness if you have it.
no, it'd be perception empathy in this case. So my character is.
I'm going to ask out of character. Are you trying to see if he's uncomfortable, comfortable? What are you trying to do?
No. What I'm about to do is I'm about to try to mention a couple of random letters and cold read him for his name, and then I'm going to try to read his body language to see if I can get some indicators.
Mm-hmm.
See, in character, I don't know his name. I'm trying a mind reading act.
Okay, well, as you do that, she's gotten the milliner girl to kind of sit by Eric, and she's like, "Play nice," and she starts like rubbing on Eric's leg, and she goes, "Cup or source?"
Okay, so my character says, what's your name? No, wait, don't tell me. I'm sensing an A, no, an E. From the four, he gets the first letter of your first name. So E, checking for other vowels, an I. Do you try to do manipulation subterfuge to hide your body language, Eric?
Probably.
Okay, so you might want to roll.
I'm tempted to fuck with this Torador.
Yes, good. Go ahead, like I said. So how many successes did we get there?
4, it looks like.
Okay, we're tied. Okay, we're tied right now, so I probably get a... Oh, okay, so I'm just kind of shooting in the dark at this point. I'm going to roll again. I'm going to roll again to attempt to see whether or not he gets it because he's now flipping through vowels. Flipping through vowels, perception, empathy again.
At this point, Allison's going to
my character's not getting it.
And just shake her head, and she goes, "What's your name, hon?"
My name is Eric Summers.
Oh,
you were right with the E and the I and the R.
Yeah, I was right the first time, but apparently your body language was that you're very good at hiding your body language, sir. I was actually having more difficulty reading you than I do some people. And my ghoul is awake right now, so bear with me.
Allison just kind of shakes her head, and the milliner girl is looking like at Eric like, "Please don't make me do this. Please don't make me do this."
Eric's a bit confused. He's just looking at the girl like, huh.
I'm going to do a perception awareness check on the girl and see what her emotional state is, and hopefully try to get an insight as to why she is so paranoid. Let's see. So, perception.
She's a blood doll. What do you really think?
I don't know that the Giovanni have blood dolls. So this is going to be my perception awareness using heightened sense. Using aura check. So difficulty 4. And 1 success. So I kind of get an idea that something that she's being forced into something.
Okay, if you I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. If you can beat that, you'd be able to tell that Eric really, really does not want to feed on this girl for some reason. But he's
So
trying to hide that he's completely revulsed by the idea of feeding on.
okay, then I will roll a perception empathy accordingly. Rolling a perception empathy, but I don't think I could beat 5 successes right now. Let's give it a shot. 3. So.
An alert.
Well, you said that I got the EVR and the I from 4 tides, so do I get a hint that something's off or no? That's up to you, Eric.
Yeah, I think you can kind of tell he's shying away a little for some reason.
Yeah, Allison told that I had 2 successes. She sighs and shoos the milliner girl away and goes, "Don't come back unless they call instead." She like mouths thank you to Eric and runs off.
Yeah.
What, is my cousin not good enough for you? She says to Eric before chuckling.
It's like, I prefer not to feed on females, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a moment.
Oh, silly me. I keep thinking that I should...
Yeah, she's ignoring the Torador now. She's grinning at Eric, and she goes, "I like you." Alison Dunsirn has code of honor for protecting females and children, so...
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also... I go batshit insane if I try, so... Why not? Why not do it?
My character says, you have a prayer exclusion like mine, then.
If that's what you call it. I'm still fairly young. I don't know the official terminology for things.
No, what I mean is that apparently you have difficulty feeding on anyone who is oppressed.
No, anyone who's a woman.
Oh, okay, slightly different.
Yeah.
And of course, I think my character just put his foot in his mouth with Allison.
At this point, Allison needs to make a self-control check again because she used to be a depressed little cutter girl. Okay, she looks over at you and goes, "That was very, very rude," and refills her wine glass before sipping it.
My character says...
You do notice in the shirt she's in, she has the top few buttons undone. You can actually see the scar on her chest where she left it from being staked. So to remind her.
Mm-hmm. My character says, "Duly noted. Could that I still evacuate my bowels, there would probably be samples of toenail in that right about now."
She just looks at you and shakes her head.
As in, my foot is in my mouth so far that...
Yeah. At this point, she goes, "So what are you fine gentlemen doing in my family's side? I mean, you're welcome to come to the bar. That's not a problem. We just don't normally get cammies visiting us unless they want something."
Well... So yes, Eric, I know why I'm here, but I don't think I've ever met you before.
I wanted a spot. I decided to go to places where, relaxation was possible, and I heard this was a place. Special place. I'm not even sure which clan is here. I'm fairly new to the city.
Well, what do you want to know? I'm always open to helping the new blood out.
Well, I'm not really sure what your clan is.
Mine?
Yes, I'm fairly new. I can't tell by a glance.
She goes, my father's name is Rodrigo Giovanni. My night father. This point, she kind of smiles and she goes, "But my Scottish family are the Dunsirns. They're my day family." At this point, she goes back to sipping her drink. You can tell when she talks about her sire, it's with distaste and anger.
I see. So you would be the part of the clan Giovanni, then?
Yes.
I've heard good things about them and mixed things from my my sire's comrades in Boston when I was first embraced. I never met one before, though.
She kind of chuckles and she goes, "Well, all you expected, the mighty and fearsome Giovanni." She says, kind of laughing, and does a false bow. At this moment, the ghoul, that is a very muscular, tall, mute thing, looks at her and just shakes his head and goes back to cleaning glasses.
Out of character, did Joseph actually give me his business card?
Yeah.
My character had slipped it across the bar, so it still is in front of you.
Okay. And Mr. Mr. Joseph. I don't believe I got your...
And out of character, how long have you been a kindred for?
Year and a half, but in character he's having trouble pronouncing it.
Okay, well, no, that's fair, but the thing is, you recognize the name automatically. My character has a rep. You recognize that he is the specialist in the Camarilla for covering up breaches of the Masquerade and bringing those breachers to trial at to the prince of any local city he's in.
1 second. He looks at the card and he's trying to hide his discomfort.
Oh.
The name.
Okay. I'm gonna be nice here. Let's see, charisma and manipulation. Okay. At this point, she's grabbed Joseph's hands when she notices Eric's uncomfortable, and she's like, "Maybe sometime you can come see some of my artwork, dear Rose." And she's smiling, kind of leaning forward towards him over the counter.
Yeah.
Eric can tell automatically she's trying to cover for him and be nice.
Okay. Are you using dominate or any sort of are you using
I'm not dominating. This is just manipulation and charisma.
Okay, so what I mean is, are you using any presence disciplines or anything in addition to this?
No, I have dominate, but I don't use it on other vampires unless I know for sure they're the correct chin.
I'm going to roll. What's the technique to resist?
You would have to probably see if I'm trying to fuck with you, or you could have to roll perception. This is just charisma and manipulation. She's just trying to distract you and get you to focus only on her.
Ah, of course. My character, first I'm going to roll a perception empathy on you to determine whether or not you're manipulating me. I'm actually, because of the fact that this is going to be a mentalist tactic now, because he recognizes the possibility of NLP, I'm going to drop the difficulty from 6 to 5. Sorry, this is in one of his fortes. So because of that, it's going to be difficulty 5. And, okay, he still gets 1 success. So he kind of has a little bit of an idea that he's being manipulated, but he plays along with it because of the, well, he has an idea that he might be being manipulated, but he still realizes that it's okay. And I'm also going to roll that perception empathy on his subterfuge. So that's going to be 5 dice for that one. And no successes. So he can't tell that Eric is actually is trying to hide it. Allison's distraction is working very well.
She goes, "I use a lot of beautiful tools down in the cellar when I do my art, and I just paint so many walls by the time I'm done."
My character says. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over, but I wanted to. I'll let you finish first. Sorry.
At this point, Eric probably, I don't know what Eric does for a living or skill-wise, but he probably gets an idea of what she's referencing. And go ahead and finish your thought, Guthrie.
Okay. My character says, unless you are actually creating a truly magnificent illusion, I'm not swayed by that usual kind of art stuff. If I can't present me a puzzle or an illusion that I can't figure out, and then you might have me entranced, if you get my drift.
At this point, she nods and she goes, "Okay, you want a puzzle? I'll give you a puzzle. How did Sabat get into New Sarum?" She says, and then goes back to refilling her wine glass.
And now now here's where the fun part comes in. See, the thing is that now that he's actually been proposed with an actual magic trick, he's now going to try to remember everything he knows about the security of New Serum that he's learned since he's gotten in. Which means now intelligence investigation, specialty puzzles.
Okay, while you do that, she kind of looks at Eric, winks, refills a shot glass. She goes, "Not a problem." It puts the bottle back up.
Oh, one success.
You know the Giovanni deal with both Anarchs and Camarilla, selling armors and weapons to them both. That's all you know.
Which means that my character still only has a. Sorry, this is going to be an extended roll because he's actually now stuck in. He's now stuck in the art trance. So now he's trying to. See, his art trance manifests that he keeps trying to figure it out. So it's just going to be an extended roll until either he gets it or you knock him out of trance.
That gives Eric more time to do whatever he wants to do in scene or ask whatever he wants to ask.
Okay.
Eric's like, yeah, there are some interesting things happening in town, aren't there? Very peculiar things. He looks at Joseph, who's lost in thought. Like, that's interesting.
This is.
Find a Torador's tick, you can lose them for hours. She says, kind of chuckling.
Yeah, I heard some of them do the sunrise, and you can really.
9,
Well,
10,
they might not last long. But.
12, 13, 14 successes.
Jesus Christ. At this point,
Sorry, people, I gotta break out a character and jump. I'll be right back. And I just got 14 successes, so my character has already figured it out.
at this point, Allison's refilling glasses. You notice more girls are walking around. Just the normal. And she goes, well, a lot of things have changed since my embrace of New Serum. But, for the most part, it's New Serum. It's my city. I rule it. I love it.
I see.
I don't rule it as in, Uncle Lysander, the prince, rules it. But, it's my own thing.
Very interesting. I've not had too much pleasure meeting very many kindred in the city. I've heard some interesting events happening, like in the park, in the hospital, and so on.
She perks up when you say hospital. And she goes, oh, what did you hear about my hospital?
Well, I only heard that some, pardon my French, but some woman shot a security guard in there.
Yeah, I heard about that. Not really sure what I'm going to do with it. At this point, she's looked over at the Torador and she goes, aw, are you finished already?
Well, because it was an extended roll, how long has this conversation been going on for?
About 10 minutes.
Give it about half an hour and he'll probably be out of it.
Okay.
Maybe an hour.
Let me finish answering Eric's in-game questions then. She goes, the park I haven't really heard much about. The last thing I really heard that had everybody freaking out was the Sabbat in town. And that was a while back.
I've heard very bad things about the Sabbat.
Yeah, they're not too nice. You notice subconsciously she does it. She touches over the scar on her chest, kind of runs her thumb over it, and she goes, they're not nice at all. And then takes another drink.
Indeed. Well, it's very interesting to consider that my time in this city will certainly be eventful.
Worst case scenario, you die. Or is that best case scenario? I'm not really sure what you Nazis count as good or bad anymore.
It depends on what clan catches you, I suppose. The Tremere, or so I've heard, the Giovanni, the best case scenario would be you die immediately.
No, no, that's not the worst case scenario if you meet a Giovanni that's angry.
Well, I said the best case is that you die
Oh, best
immediately.
case you die. Yes, I guess. At this point, she's now playing with the one of the rings on her hands. You notice she's only got two rings on, one on each hand, and she's playing with one that seems to kind of glow faintly.
Say, that's some very interesting jewelry.
Yes, father gave me this one, and then my cousin that went back to Africa gave me this one.
I see.
You know what they say, family comes before anything else. And she says this smiling before she takes another drink of her vate wine.
Indeed, I have not had the pleasure of being able to be near my family since they wouldn't like it very much if their dead son came up. I have an official death certificate, actually, but I got rid of it.
Hmm.
My
Well,
family still thinks I'm dead, though.
I guess that makes better for starting over better, but I would be careful. I mean, what if your family decides to go on a trip and they see you at some nightclub or something?
Indeed. What if they come here and see me here?
Hmm. They're coming into the open casket. They're looking for more than just you and death. They're looking to get lost in it. At this point, you notice music has started playing. The girls have gotten up on the stages and the VIP tables with bowls and etc. Sorry if it offends you. The girls have to practice, though.
Oh, no, it's not that. It's just I go crazy if I try feeding on one.
Hmm.
Which I'm sure the Giovanni would not appreciate me doing inside their bar.
I would have to kill you. And personally, you amuse me.
Yeah, see, I like my unlife the way it is. So,
At this point, Guthrie, you can talk about the puzzle solving whenever you're ready.
Because of the fact of the 14 successes, I'm now talking to an admin to get that method. So bear with.
Okay. Then I guess at this point, Allison, you notice flips her notebook over to another page, starts writing down some random names, numbers, that sort of thing. She goes, "So what else can I help you with?"
well, I was just looking for a place to at least visit this place, just see what it looks like, in case I need to visit it again. And there's that dog. He came up from your larder again.
Mm, yeah, Ulrich doesn't like to pay attention or follow orders too much.
I see that happens sometimes with dogs.
Just like the real Ulrich, she mutters before taking more swigs. I did meet a new kindred, and oh, I didn't even realize he was one of ours. He was so pretty, I almost hurt him until he explained himself. It's horrible.
Eric's like, yeah, I've met a few new ones. We introduced ourselves to the prince, a couple of us at the same time. There are more of my kindred in the city now.
I think you may have met him, the sheriff. I do some work with him. I offered my services to him. He's a very pretty, nice gentleman. Bit flat, though, she says, making a motion to her teeth.
does does nice include shooting someone for no reason?
Yes, yes, it does.
Ah, okay. I wasn't aware.
Everyone has a reason to shoot you. You just may not know it.
Indeed, I will. I will keep that in mind as I venture through my own life here in New Sarum.
And you shouldn't really put it past him, dear. She looks around at some of the humans. Family is a little more lunar-based than us.
Well, I've not met him personally, but some associates of mine have, and they didn't have the most positive of experiences. And at this point, Eric just fiddles with, starts playing with the glass of Vitae, and he doesn't seem to have much to say. He looks at Joseph and is like, he's still at it. Huh.
Roses are the most simple to manipulate. Nazis are average. It's hit or miss with them.
It probably depends on the Nosferatu you encounter.
I have a Nosferatu friend who's actually a actor and director and screenwriter and many other things. I haven't seen him lately, but you offer him a job on the stage and he eats out of your hand.
What is his name by chance?
I believe it was Charles. But like I said, it's been a while, and I've slept since then. At this point, she touches at her chest again, and then just kind of shudders.
One sec, I inadvertently took off the costume, but I now have the answer. I'm getting back into costume, and we'll be right back out of trance momentarily. I'm just taking a minute to get out. Sorry.
And he's like, I don't believe I've met anyone of that name in my time here. That is my clan as well.
Yeah, to let you know, that character actually has been technically retired. But, okay.
Kind of figured.
Yeah, he came over to playing Geo, but at this point she goes, what do you know about the Tremere, though? I hear they've, like, invaded town in a huge number.
At this point, Joseph literally snaps back out of his trance and says, I have it, and I believe this may have been a Nosferatu flub.
She's now looking at you. She goes, easy on the flub threat, calling.
No. Let me elaborate. This was not a flub of their intent. This was not a flub of the clan in general. This was just a simple. There were too many other things that were probably distracting. That were keeping the Nosferatu busy. There were probably too many things. I understand that we are all overloaded these days.
At this point, she nods and thinks back to the situation between the Nosferatu and the Ravna. She goes, oh yeah, that little battle.
Well, so here's my thought. See, the thing is, they probably would have driven in cars. And if they had not actually presented themselves or were walking down the street, no one would have actually done an aura check to determine whether or not they were kindred and possibly of different clans or seeing their disciplines. However, there is a possible way they could have been detected, but again, I know you guys were overloaded. Had we actually caught any images of them via the traffic cameras that are normally over the lights as they drove in via the cars into New Sarum, we probably would have spotted them 10 times earlier. However, as the case so stands, I'm presuming that whoever would normally for us monitor those cameras was very, very busy with something else going on. I know we are all overloaded these days. So in other words, we were misdirected from the actual attack coming in.
I need to roll self-control now, Guthrie.
Uh-oh. I'm just going to keep pushing this until my character dies, isn't he?
At this point, you notice she sets her glass down, and she goes, so a misdirection and distraction on the part of the Camarilla led to me on a public domain being staked and kidnapped.
Apparently, too many distractions And the Sabat found a weak spot in the Sabat found a weak spot when the Camarilla weren't paying attention, or to those who were specifically supposed to pay attention were not paying attention because they were overloaded. And I'm trying to be polite about this, but that's about the way it seems to go these days.
You actually hear a small cracking noise as her hand is shattering the glass she holds. She goes, I see, so the Camarilla can't protect their own. And she's got blood just like pouring out over the glass now.
Now my character has to roll courage because he's about to do something to offset the playing field a little bit. So rolling 4 dice of courage and hoping to fuck I don't flop this because this is going to be another really bad frenzy and the entire bar is going to get burnt down if this goes badly. Okay, this was a failure. This was a failure, not a botch. So this was a failure, not a botch. Oh wait, no, hang on. Because it was difficulty. Wait. No, it was yes, no. Because it was difficulty 5. Because my character's holding the button, that was still a failure, not a botch.
Mm.
So this is going to go badly. My character attempts to. This is what happens when I do effects that backfire horribly.
She's not frenzying, she's just angry.
No. My character is frenzying because as he snaps his fingers to try to set off, his current common illusion to try to calm the situation to demonstrate his new power, he snaps off and you see his hand moving, and then he's like, "Oh no!" Ah! And then he promptly actually tries to shake his own hand, which is now currently on fire.
Hold on.
He tries to put it out.
Okay, courage.
And you then see him running around the bar with a hand on fire. Running.
At this point, you see Alison pick up the shotgun from under the counter and use it to push you over until you stop, drop, and roll, idiot.
Yeah, and stops dropping and rolling, and finally, after a couple of seconds, the fire goes out. And he goes...
I have no idea how to actually play that out. I would have made you frenzy and, like, do a check, and I would have made...
No. That's why my character was in frenzy. That's why he was running around with the fire on. You know, he literally was just running around with a beast on fire. I'm now going to have to spend a willpower to try to come out of frenzy.
Yeah, Eric, I would make a courage check because you did just have a guy beside you burst into flame.
Hang on, I gotta load up my... I don't have it. Darn it.
Okay.
Because
of how the trick was done, my character took no damage from the fire. Because of the fact that, again, he had set up the method in advance, but because he failed the courage roll, he went into frenzy despite the fact that he took no damage.
Yeah, I was going to ask, if you tell me how many dots you have, I can roll the dice for you.
Yeah, no, not to worry. I'm just going to roll my courage again. Not courage, self-control to try to get back out. And
I'm telling Eric, if he tells me how many dots of courage he has, I'll roll it for him.
No, that's what I have to look up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Or we could just play it off as you kind of freaked out and moved away from the fire. Yeah, you freaked out and moved away from the fire. But you didn't frenzy, and you see Alison holding off the sawed-off shotgun. And she says, "Oh, I should put this back up, shouldn't I?" I put it back on the counter. Yeah, you have scared some of the girls also, by the way, Guthrie. They've run to the back room screaming, and the ghoul is just looking at you and just shaking his head and face palming.
Yep, but the point is that as he comes back out of frenzy, having missed a willpower, his first response is, sorry about that. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes, even though I have control over that particular ability, I sometimes forget that I have control over that particular capability.
Okay. At this point, you see Alison just plucking the glass out of her hand, and she wraps it in some napkins, and she goes, "We all lose control when we're doing our art. Perfectly fine." If you've talked to anybody in the Camarilla, like Lysander or any of the other Giovanni or anything, Guthrie, you could probably make a roll or such to know rumors about Alison.
Yeah. No, my Joseph says, well, it appears no one is angry anymore, so I believe it still had the desired effect, even though it was in the wrong, even though it was not in the intended way.
I just love to see a man on fire. No offense.
Joseph actually has a bit of a chuckle at that, and is now going to roll charisma empathy. So that will be, I put him at 3 charisma, so that'll be 4 dice. Rolls charisma empathy. I'm assuming standard difficulty to gently nudge in the idea, to gently enhance his charisma a little bit, and nudge Alison in the way of saying, well, I do like to. Well, I've always been one to entertain. And or it's like, well, hey, anything for a fair lady, and proceeds to do it, and he is horrible at it. The one success got neutralized, so he's a blatant failure at that. You can tell that he's trying to lay it on thick, and it's not working.
Eric tries to stifle some chuckles and kind of puts his forehead in his hand.
Well, Allison's kind of innocent, so we're going to roll perception. Okay, she catches on, she goes, Sir, no.
You got a 6 and a 1 there. That was a failure.
Yeah, it did. She's looking at you, and she goes, if you're doing what I think you're doing, I've only been in one relationship, and that ended horribly.
No, I'm not trying to hit on you. I'm just trying to add a little joke in for a double entendre and just make things a bit more fun overall. It didn't work.
She kind of cocks her head like a little kid would and looks at you blankly. Fun? Work is fun. I'm doing work as we talk. She's just motioning to the notebook.
Yeah. At this, I'm actually going to roll perception investigation. This is without the specialty, to see whether or not I can either read upside down what's on the page or to do pen reading for what your character might be writing. Sorry, you had something?
Our abandonment of peacekeeping versus warfighting card 2.
Effective. Sorry, out of character thing in the background there. And rolling perception investigation for pen reading, for pencil reading, or pen reading as the technique is called. And that was blatantly obvious. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could lower it to difficulty. I could lower it to difficulty 4 based on my character's known abilities with it. But
no, it's okay. You do know Alison Dunsirn's coded day job for the Giovannis is as a financial loan advisor and officer, aka loan shark. And
I'm going to roll intelligence investigation specialty mathematics.
Money owed.
I'm going to roll intelligence investigation specialty. Let me actually double check to make sure that I did that. Knowledge, subject, authority. Yes, subject, authority, mathematics. My character is going to do that for the double entry bookkeeping and also specify to see whether or not Benford's law has been violated, which will come up in a second. And 1, 2, 3 successes. So my character presumably would be able to tell a little bit about your work. Have you been deliberately falsifying any of the numbers?
No. It's actually very large amounts of money they owe to the company Alison Dunsirn works for. Like in the millions to 100 millions. Okay,
my character is going to file this away under eidetic memory for later. And my character is going to file this away under eidetic memory for later because which he will be able to, because of the eidetic memory, he will be able to recreate everything you've just written. I've done a snapshot for later. And is basically going to gently say, with a charisma performance roll this time, to imply a double meaning. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do one better. I'm going to roll intelligence finance on top of that. Hang on, just checking my intelligence finance score. My finance should be 1, yes. So finance 1. That's intelligence 1. Sorry, I'm sorry about all the rolls here, but you know, intelligence finance, and that's 5 successes clean across the board.
So what are you trying to do?
My character has not only seen the large amount of money, he's actually trying to run some sums in his head to figure out. He's trying to figure out who owes you, and what the overall transactions are, and what the profit is you stand to make from this.
Some are politics, some are normal people who have just taken out business loans. It's just, they're all mortal right now. She wouldn't work on the Kindred accounts in front of you. She has actually stopped and looked up at you and she goes, what, did you want to take out a loan?
My character said, more along the lines of, I was trying to figure out what you stand to make in this business. Seeing if it might be something I might want to invest in. And that's the charisma performance roll.
Why
Yeah,
use that
he gets 3 successes. So he gets 3 successes at telling you that he might be wanting to invest in this. This is going to be followed by, that was just to get your attention, followed by a manipulation subterfuge roll, which, if I'm not mistaken, is 5 dice on my thing. How many dice did I put in subterfuge?
By the way, Dan, if you have not noticed, this has basically been just like Guthrie play with this character's dice rolls scene.
Sorry, I hate to do this, but I have to do this. I have to do this by the book. Otherwise, it's kind of a violation, and I'm metagaming. Sorry, I'll be done with this in a second. 1 success. 1 success. Do you want to roll to beat that? The manipulation subterfuge?
What am I rolling here?
You would be rolling perception. I think it would be perception empathy.
Well, I don't have empathy, so I'll just roll perception.
There might be
1 success.
So yeah, we're tied. So because of that tie, tie goes to defender. Ties always go to defender. So you spot through the deception. I mean, I've gotten your attention with it, but you clearly see through that there's that while my character may be contemplating investing, there's more to this. A lot more to this that he's thinking about.
She flips it over to a blank page where you can't see what she's working on. She goes, well, what would your actual interest be? Because I only get a paycheck from my cousin who used to be the mayor, Oz Rothstein. He gives me a paycheck once a week for my work.
My character's response says, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag, and he proceeds to pull out his own notepad and completely rewrite everything and hand it to you, and just flash it towards you so that he can see it, and then quickly puts it back in his pocket.
He shrugs, why would I care about a bunch of humans?
As I said, my only concern is, as I told you before, my only concern is oppression and whether or not our safety is in jeopardy. I'm going to assume that this is not a safety issue for now, but if it does come back and turns out to be one, well, let's just say I might take a secondary interest again.
Hold on. And no, this isn't going to be self-control.
Uh-oh, this is going to be direct attack at my character.
No. What's your gin? Just so I can know if this will even be worth trying.
My gin is... Oh, that's funny, yeah. I can't remember if I'm 12 or 13. Give me a sec to pull up my sheet.
That's fine. 12 or 13, I can still do this.
Oh, yeah, 12. That'll work for you.
I think I'm going to do a... No. If I do that, I'll get in trouble with the Camarilla. Let's just do charisma manipulation for now. Since you are, a higher gin than me.
Okay.
Oh, no successes. At this point, she's just leaned over the counter. That was to intimidate. And she goes, do I look like I'm amused, Mr. Rose? I will prune you.
My character, again, I'm going to roll courage a second time this time and hope not to lose it. Normally this actually works quite well. It's just today was a bit of a flub. And come on, give me a good roll.
It's because you're using Hannibal Lecter as your character picture, dear.
Yes, 2 successes. No, sorry, 3 successes because of the difficulty 5. My character lights off the flame again this time, quickly pulls it off, flashes his hand around a little bit to illustrate things, then closes his hand down and be able to pull it off, and says, "Yes. Did you bypass
self-control? That was self-control.
Okay, you did the self-control. Eric, you might want to roll self-control again.
I swear to God, I'm taking this toy of his away. Alison Dunsirn needs a fire machine.
Okay, now that he's lost it, now because of the fact that I've done this, oh, damn it, I actually made a mistake on something. I kept forgetting to make a roll with this. We'll do this retroactively, so that this way you can...
made a roll.
No, that was for the courage. I forgot to do one other thing. So we're going to do a Dex Larceny roll right now because I need to do this as well. Dex Larceny, specialty misdirection. No successes. So while the fire trick goes off, you may roll me a perception alertness.
Okay.
Roll me perception alertness.
No successes.
Okay, so you don't. Okay, so yeah, you don't have the same idea either. So, okay, so never mind. It's not applicable then. it's not applicable. So basically, yeah. Basically, my character says he shuts down the fire. Kindly remember that I can summon fire anywhere I want at any time. I have means of defending myself, and I will use it to protect all of us. And with that, he says, I am not intimidated, and as I said, this is not a safety issue right now. But if it does become one, I will be investigating. And with that, he takes a flourish of his cape and quickly walks out the door.
Okay, so that's good anyway. She goes, fucking stuck-up, preppy, good-for-nothing sons of bitches, roses. And she pours another drink. She goes, you didn't hear that.
Not sure what you're talking about.
Want another drink, or are you leaving also?
I may, I still need to finish this one. He, finishes the last bit. He's like, I believe I have some, business to do, downtown.
Be careful for the anarchs, she says, laughing as she sips her drink.
Oh, the one I've met was pretty nice.
They are. They're very nice, and they're very good customers, but they don't always get along with Cammy, so. Not that you're hard to get along with, my dear Mr. Summers, but.
Mr. Zwingy seems to be quite the character.
But do tell Uncle Lysander next time you see him, if you see him before me, that I said hello. I do so miss going to his bookstore.
I will be sure to do that. Eric stands and gives a polite half bow and leaves.
Okay, and with that, scene will end with Allison finishing her drink and then going down to the cellar, and you can now hear screams over the Beethoven people.